So like, and I can always edit things out.
Yeah.
But yeah, true. I haven't done this in a while. Feels
Yeah. When was your last one with someone?
I was with JP.
Oh yeah, so
it was
that
at
is
the,
all.
the
Yeah, at
Easter
the camp.
camp.
Yeah.
But I've done like personal ones.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have I showed you my channel before?
I've seen some of the videos.
Oh,
so.
are you subscribed?
Yeah. I'm subscribed.
Oh,
yeah. Good. Subscribe. No,
yeah. Like and subscribe. Is it nice and straight? It's fine. Yeah, right. Hello, welcome back everyone. It's been a while, I know, I'm sorry. It's just, life happens. Nothing bad happened, it's just consistency, But yeah, how you been, man? Like,
yeah.
how's life been treating you?
Yeah, life's been alright.
I've got a lot to tell, man.
Yeah, okay, awesome. Yeah, no, life's been alright. Been on a bit of holidays from work, which has been good. Spending some more time with family and stuff, so yeah.
I wish I could have a break. I mean, I've only been working full time for like 2 months and I'm already sick of it.
Yeah.
getting used to adult life,
Yeah, no, that's
But no, it's good to be busy, for sure. But the main thing I want to talk about is being focused, because you can be busy and then you can get sidetracked and then you forget about God, for example, like me personally, if I'm being honest, I've definitely been over busy. I don't know if that's a good way of saying it.
Yeah.
But just, I haven't had enough time to focus on what I actually value, like work. I leave when it's dark and I get back when it's dark, and by the time I get home, I don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
But in life, if you want to, get ahead, or just in general, if you want to live right, live well, you're gonna have to do sacrifices,
Yeah, that's it.
It's just how life is. That's how I've learnt so far. Life's not easy. It's just the beginning. I don't have barely any responsibilities. But how old are you now?
I'm 27.
27?
Yeah.
True. And how long have you been married?
I've been married just over 5 years.
Oh wow,
yeah.
No kids yet?
Yeah, no kids yet, yeah.
Why not?
I guess it wasn't the right time yet, but hoping soon. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, awesome, man. Yeah. No, I'm gonna have like 7.
7, nice.
Yeah, I want to be my dad.
Bro, 7 is good. I want 7 as well.
Yeah, really?
That's awesome, yeah.
Wait, actual like 7?
Yeah, anywhere like 5 to 10.
5 to 10? Yeah,
somewhere.
Wow. Does your wife agree?
I think she'd prefer it at 3. But
3, yeah. No, like even what my mum says, she says it's worth it. At the start, it's so hard.
Yeah.
Like even at work, someone's like, "Oh man, 2 is so hard,"
Yeah.
Because like one's when the newborn's asleep, the toddler's making a mess.
Yeah.
But once you get through that stage, I feel like Christmas parties will never be boring.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, big families are definitely a blessing for sure.
Yeah. 100%.
There you go. That's another sacrifice.
Yeah.
Family.
Yeah.
Big family, hard. It's a hard sacrifice. It's a hard thing, but it's worth it. So like everything in life, hard things are worth it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome, man. Yeah. I mean, for me, I've been quite busy, full-time job. Like I said, very, very busy with time. I haven't been able to keep up with what I really value. So, and it's great to be able to finally just talk about it, share a bit.
Yeah.
Be accountable to everyone watching as well, and maybe you can relate as well. You definitely can relate. Because if you're not busy, then what are you doing,
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you've also got the same struggle with
and I was pretty when I saw your message, like we were talking earlier, and you were kind of saying what you had in mind to talk about. It was something I could definitely relate to, and I feel like kind of how you said about like entering like adulthood, it's like that, like when you're younger you feel like you have a lot of time when you're not working, but as soon as you get into work and then family comes and all of that, and I don't have kids yet, but when you have kids as well, I can imagine it's
so
even
much more responsibility.
And I think that's probably a huge struggle that a lot of people have, is when life is busy, and then you have other commitments even outside of work, fitting in that time for what really matters with our relationship with God. I think that's a struggle a lot of people go through. Yeah.
Yeah. Like at the end of the day, you know, sometimes you'll have a bad day at work. Then I just remember, like, man, you know, all we have to do is get through this life, you know, and then at the end of it, it's all worth it, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I guess there's a bit of hope in that. Maybe it's coping, coping method or whatever you call it. No, probably not coping. I guess it's good to have that hope, you know, be reminded, because maybe not everyone can have that hope, you know, like knowing at the end of the day, you've had a long day, and then you just remember, like, no, it's God at the end, you know. It's even though this life is very occupying, like, I've first-hand experienced how busy life is. Like, even before this job, I was literally like, I was unemployed for like 2 months. And when you have too much free time, you don't use it well.
No.
That's what I've noticed. But then when you're busy, it's like you get so much done. People would think like, oh yeah, you work like 12 hours a day. You think you'd be tired when you get home, but I'm doing fine right now, so there you go. It's weird how it works, eh? You think you'd be more tired, but it's just focus, you know. Like at work today, I didn't really get in trouble, but like they just had to kind of like, you know, remind me like, oh come on man, what are you doing, you know? I kind of had like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, you know. I feel like we could talk a bit about that, you know, like with faith especially as well.
Sweet.
But like, with this job, you know, half committed. Like, I don't fully believe that it can work out, you know, because it's a lot depends on self-belief. Because sales, it's fully dependent on performance. So if one day performance sucks, you're like, you know, life sucks. Everything sucks. You just want to. You just want to end it all. No, not really. But then you have a good day and it's like, oh yeah, money. But a big thing as well for me, like focusing on money. As well. Like, I'm sure you can relate. Everyone probably relates. You know, it's a battle we all overcome, temptation that we all have to overcome. And a lot of times people have told me money's not bad, you know, but it's how you use it. And God only gives it to people who deserve it. Because like, if you get something fast, you know, like quick success, you don't really deserve it. But if you on the journey there is what gives you the right to earn it. You get what I mean? I mean, we're kind of just rambling. We don't really have a topic right now. So let me just open up my Bible. I don't even know what I'm opening to. We're freestyling this. So, I mean, do you know any like passages to do with like just in general, like time, like getting yourself?
It was something I've been thinking about recently, like as we spoke about it before this interview started, about going to the gym. Because I've started going a bit to the gym more consistently.
Cool.
And I know you've been going to the gym for a while now too. And like with the busy schedule, you know, I often find myself like, life's so busy. You've got work, you've got studies, you've got family, you've got church commitments, then you've got friends, and trying to fit all of that in. The last thing you can kind of squeeze in is time for God. But last month I started taking the gym seriously, and I kind of pushed some of the other commitments like to the side. I'm not committed to other stuff as well. It's just fitting in the gym was something that was important for me. So I fit in the gym into like my weekly schedule. And just the other week I was thinking about that verse. I think it's in 1 Timothy, where Paul says that like physical training is of some like profit, some value. That's my
inspiration.
But training in godliness has much greater value. because it gives the hope of life both now and in the life to come.
Trains your soul.
Yeah, so I was just thinking about that and just relating how Paul says there's a training in godliness. And for me, my personality type, I'm not really good with like schedules and routines. I'm more of just like a,
play along.
Go with the flow of things. So my relationship with God and how I would spend time with God was really, there was no schedule in it. And that was really good for me when I wasn't working. So I would, wake up when I wanted to wake up, then I'd go to the park, I'd go for like a walk, be praying, come home, read my Bible, listen to a sermon, then go back to praying, then go to church, for a Bible study. And I did spend a lot of time in fellowship with God during that time. But because I kind of had a lot of time on my hands, I could be really like fluid with how I spent my time and like when
in a good way, like
in a good way, like so for me it was like, because my relationship with God, I saw it as I could come to God as my father whenever sort of I needed, whenever I wanted to, and I really it was a good period in my life. I found myself often coming to God all throughout the day. But I also had, because I wasn't working, the ability to do that. So then fast forward, I get a full-time job, then I get married, then there's church commitments, then there's, family to see. And all of a sudden, I realized I lost all that time. And the way I really often, spend my time with God was kind of like, it was never structured. And because of that, I've always struggled to like be structured in my time with God, like to put in a slot. And I almost saw that as a bad thing, like why you're putting God in a slot throughout the week. Yes, I never really liked that. But my wife, she thrives off routine. So if she had like routine that every morning she would read the word and draw close to God. And my personality type and stuff, and sort of like, just that thought of like, man, I don't like that putting in a slot for God kind of thing. But reading that verse the other week about training in godliness, I was sort of comparing it to the gym training the last couple of months. And I realized that I think there is a benefit to having some sort of structure.
Like having a time for it.
Yeah, and I thought, man, when life does get busy, one way in which I think would be a good way to sort of make sure that our hearts are in tune with God is to actually be like, just like I block out Thursday night, Tuesday night, Saturday morning for the gym, I'm going to block out these other times throughout the week. And they're times where, if people ask me, I'm going to say I'm busy, because those are the times I'm training in godliness. Those are the times I'm drawing close to God. So it's like making room for God in a busy schedule. I think it's possible. And I just think sometimes it's a little bit like the gym. It takes some training, some discipline, and some structure.
Like being intentional with your time. Because for sure, you definitely get carried away when you have too much free time. But it's good having a routine.
For sure.
Like in the mornings I'm supposed to like read before I go train, but these past few days I haven't. And I don't know, it's definitely been affecting me somehow. I've definitely noticed something going on these past few weeks, like I'm losing my self-awareness in a way, kind of, I'm like, what's going on? I have no idea, and it feels so strange. But yeah, I always. But then when in those times where it's like the rough, you know, only then do I say, oh come on, God, please help me.
Yeah.
But it's not. It doesn't work that way. You know, I've been taught that it doesn't work that way.
Mm.
So as far as I know, we don't just come to God when it benefits us the most. You know.
Yeah.
But like you said, you know, like how long ago were you doing that? You said
when I wasn't working and
Yeah.
stuff, that's at least 5 years ago now.
True.
5, 6, yeah, right. Sort of a time period before I was married. But yeah, and like there was a lot of things that I think I still like I did really well with in terms of some lessons that I learned that I can carry on even to like a busy schedule. So like one thing that I realized during that time is God, you know, going back to that whole slot thing, the reason I really didn't like that idea is because during that time period, even though there was, you know, I had the freedom to go, you know, anytime during the day to go and pray and to read, I actually did find myself kind of in a constant state of fellowship with God. I was always in the habit of praying, always in the habit of talking to God, I just always felt connected to him. I'd be going with the train I was still at uni at the time, part-time, but I would go on the train to uni, and in the train I'd be praying, I'd be like worshipping, I'd be walking down the streets, I'll be praying, I'll be speaking to someone, and while I'm speaking to that person, I'll be asking God for help of what words to say next. So it was just this constant, always being in touch with God. And I think that when life does become busy, that's something I have really like kept in mind and carried on from those times, that sometimes life is busy and sometimes you might not have the chance every day to get to the word. You might not have the chance every day to you know, spend half an hour in prayer, but you do have the chance throughout the whole day to be in constant communion with God, to always be speaking to him throughout the day.
Yeah, that's true. No excuse for that.
It was the same with the word too. Like I found there were some days where I didn't have time to necessarily like read the Bible for a while, but I'd read a verse maybe in the morning or at some point throughout the day, and then that verse I would like take it in my heart and mind, and throughout the day I'd chew on it, meditate on it, and you know, just I'd be doing some groceries, that verse pops back into my mind, praying, Lord, like, what can you show me from this verse? And like that, you're always still, even when things are busy, I think a lifestyle like that really still keeps us in that right connection with God, right fellowship, and we're still putting him in that number one place in our lives. So
it's like like I said before about being intentional with time. That's like an example of being intentional with God, because like, you can definitely like have a routine or schedule where you just, you know, like read in the morning, but then you just said like even just a verse, but throughout the day you at least like I had some days, a few days where I do read, and it's like I just read just to check a box, you know. Yeah, like obviously I'm building on my, you know, I'm feeding my soul with the word, but I never really think about it outside of that, you know? Maybe if I like listen to something in the car, I'll be like, oh yeah, but I don't know if it's just me or if I've like spoken it into reality with my words, you know. I don't even like saying it now, but I feel like my memory isn't that good. I don't like saying it out loud, because I believe that words manifest, you know. But like even Yeah, memorizing like scripture, like
Yeah.
I find it hard to do that. Do you think you can memorize scripture?
Yeah,
Like, do you
I
have a lot of
actually
stuff?
find like I'm hard with memorization too. Like I find that pretty hard, like with scripture, and that's why even this whole thing, like when I've taken a verse and really come back to it over and over again, I found that helps me retain it into memory a lot more. Yeah, like sometimes a verse will really speak to me, and I'll be like, man, that verse was awesome, or that short passage was awesome, and then it's kind of like I've had this like God's really touched me through that verse, and then I go to work or do whatever, and I don't come back to that verse. And if you ask me like in a week what verse it was, I can't even really remember, the gist of the verse.
Yeah.
But I found if a verse really speaks to me, and I take that verse, and then, there's a lunch break at work, I'll open my phone, go back to that verse, read it again, and then think about the words in that verse, think about what God's saying through his word. I feel like then that verse starts to like stick to memory. And then I'll find that, if I spend 2 days doing that, or like, over 2 weeks, every now and then coming back to that verse, then I might forget the verse for, a couple months, but then I'm facing a situation and all of a sudden that verse comes back to mind that, is right for that situation. So, yeah. But I think all of these things come back to like being intentional. They all require some sort of action, whether it's setting aside time throughout the week or being intentional in, getting in the habit of always praying, always, speaking to God, always meditating on his word, or, taking a verse, rereading it and all of that. It happens only if we, the benefits of those things only happen if we actually do those things. And I think that's often the biggest, obstacle is actually doing, because sort of what you were saying, that when you have a long day, you kind of come home and you just want to like chill, you want to like
sometimes
so
but like today, for example, because we planned this out, and then I wasn't tired, I wasn't ready to make excuses, I was already prepared to do this. So I feel like if you tie that in with like you said, you have a calendar now, which I think is a good idea. I've tried to set one up before, but I can't. I don't know if it works or anything. Well, it probably does. I just don't have enough. Honestly, I'm just making excuses. I don't know why. But pretty much, if you've got things you already know you need to do, then a calendar or like a schedule keeps you accountable. So like, do you hold well to your calendar? Like,
man, in all honesty, not so well. Okay. Like it's a start, but like I've set up this calendar like a week ago. I had some tasks I had to do today, and instead I did the tasks. I did a few things today that I was meant to do over next weekend, and instead I did them today because it was just some moving stuff around the house. We're in the middle of some renovations, and I walked past something and I was like, oh, I'll just start moving this, and then that sort of put me into the mindset of, let me just clear this whole space and do all these other things. And then Rachel was like, didn't you weren't you meant to do these emails and all these other things today? And I was like, yeah, but I think I'm going to do this thing now. So but I realized that's actually quite a lot of my weaknesses, is that there is tasks that I have to do, but I'll often do other tasks that I still have to do, but maybe aren't as important in that moment. Maybe it has a little to do with
Like, do you pick easier tasks or you just...
Yeah, maybe sometimes it has
Yeah.
something to do with that. Like
Okay.
I'll, like the email that I had to write today was quite an important one for some of my future studies. So I think maybe in the background there was a bit of like, oh, I want to push that to the side for now and
I mean,
do
that
some of
only
these other
takes about,
tasks.
what, like 15 minutes to
Yeah, so
write
this,
out a...
yeah, so the email I had to write up a few of my research project ideas. So I had to
true.
first get those research projects together, like in
okay.
sort of like as a loose, like a little kind of overview of each topic. So
Yeah, it kind of makes sense.
yeah, so in order to do that, I had to like filter out a whole bunch of different notes that I've been putting together the last couple of years, and yeah, so it was a big task. So I probably just chose to do some of the other tasks, but I'm hoping the calendar will sort of keep me more at. Hey,
More
this is the
accountable
thing
to-
you got to
yeah.
do today, you know.
Yeah.
So
Pardon, with like you're studying theology, right?
yeah.
So like, what's that leading to? Like, what kind of...
So I started it probably the year after I became a Christian, and the idea was more. It was just something I enjoyed. I enjoyed reading the Bible. I enjoyed getting into the Word, and basically when I had free time, the way I spent it was reading the Bible, reading books about the Bible, and sort of getting into theology. So I was like, oh, if I'm already doing this in my spare time, I might as well sort of continue with this in studies. So at the beginning, it wasn't necessarily for any other aim than I just want to know more about God. But at the moment, I am planning to sort of go into further studies and eventually maybe get into teaching. So
Just
so
like
it's
as a career path.
yeah, as a career path.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So,
Like a Christian school, and you do like...
yeah, kind of like a Christian uni, like a
So
college.
like what you're studying now is actually what you'll teach, or...
Yeah, so I'm not studying everything that I'll teach. Usually when you teach, you kind of, most people specialize in a certain area, whether that's New Testament or Old Testament, or maybe like a biblical language like Greek and Hebrew, or theology. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly where to sort of aim for, but yeah, but
right.
I've been enjoying it.
That's, as long as you enjoy it, that's good.
Yeah.
Wait, so do you study another language? Like...
Yes, I did Greek. And then that was a couple of years ago.
Can you speak Greek?
I can read it.
You can read it.
Yeah, like I can't have a conversation with anyone, but but I can read it. In terms of like words, I used to know a lot of words, but again, not putting it into practice, you lose sort of a lot of the memory, and going back to our bad memories. So I have to be a lot more intentional when it sort of sticks.
Actually, I kind of forgot the main point. I actually talked about that. One of our church elders, JP, I actually spoke to him about this, and he said, well, what's one thing that you remember very well, you know? It's like you see it, it's like, oh yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
Do you have anything like that in your life?
One thing I remember well. I actually, my memory is a bit funny. I remember a lot of things from childhood, like, you know, a lot of things from the past, but I feel like as I got older, my memory sort of collapsed a bit. But yeah, memories, I think, is probably something
or maybe more like things you're passionate about, like you like know, like for example, I don't know, being able to recite like the numbers of pi. I don't know. I have an example, but I just want to hear yours first.
Yeah. Man.
Something you're passionate about.
Yeah.
like being able to name like watches, for example, like being able to
Yeah, yeah.
you know, it's like,
Well,
oh yeah, this is the RM blah 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 69560, you know, like
yeah, yeah. Well, even though I'm not good at verses, I can probably I know a lot of Bible stories.
so you still yeah, okay.
That I can, like, if you tell me
Bible
a little
stories,
bit of a story, I can probably finish
Okay.
it without getting the wording right.
Because yeah, for me, when we were speaking with JP,
Yeah,
I told him, oh yeah, for me, it was quite obvious. It's cars.
cars, yeah.
I can hear a car. I'm like, oh yeah, I know.
That's, yeah, nice.
So it's pretty cool. I guess it's because I'm passionate about it, you know. So
Do you think that's maybe one of the, and I guess this ties a little bit into the time conversation, like your passion sort of helps you with the memorization?
yeah,
So,
I was gonna get into that.
yeah,
But you know, it's like what you're passionate about. Like obviously, passionate about cars. I love my cars, you know. So I literally know all the models or everything.
yeah,
And then JP's like, well, if you were passionate as much about this as you are with cars, you would easily remember the word.
yeah, yeah.
And then it hit me. It's like, oh man, far out, you know.
Yeah.
How do you become passionate with like the word as such, you know?
Yeah.
Like someone like JP, he's like, you can see he's passionate about it, you know.
Yeah.
Like when he teaches people, he teaches it out of like not like he's trying to teach you like to change, but like he's just showing you like what the word has, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Showing you how to change,
Yeah.
how to think.
Yeah.
So you can see the passion there.
Yeah, definitely.
I just don't know how you develop that.
Yeah.
Maybe I should ask him.
I think that's probably comes from like, yeah, sort of like the passion is coming out from a place of how your heart is towards God. And like I was thinking about it even in relation to the whole time thing. Like gym, for instance, you start making time for it throughout the week, even if you're tired from work, even if you've got other things on, because all of a sudden it sparks some sort of passion or desire in you that, you know, no matter, you know, what's on, I've got to go to the gym today. And maybe behind the reason for going to the gym, there's maybe like something behind that makes us passionate about the gym. So maybe it's wanting to be healthy. Maybe it's wanting to look a certain way. You know, and I think there's something in that tells us, even in our relationship with God, if we really were passionate about God and were interested in knowing Him more and loving Him more, I think that would show even throughout our weeks. We would be like, you know, so
it's kind of like common sense.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know, if you're studying something, you'll eventually end up knowing it, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You don't go to uni for nothing.
Yeah, and I think developing that passion for God, I think one thing we can do is pray when we don't have it. I remember a friend of mine, he realized his heart didn't have a lot of love. And he didn't know how to change it, and he was just praying, God, like, soften my heart, coming to God. And through that process, God changed him to make him a man full of love. But other practical things, I think, is just purely by spending time with God. When we spend time with Him, we sort of taste of His goodness. We realize how good He is, and that makes us fall deeper in love with Him. Same as like when you meet a girl you like, you know, like when I met my wife, the more time you spend with that person, the more love you start feeling in your heart. And I think it's the same with God in a sense. Same with, I think, with pretty much all of our relationships. Like, you know, if me and you don't know each other too well, I might not have much passion for you at all, you know, in a friendship sort of way. But if I start spending time with you, we start getting to know each other, then it's like, hey man, you know, it's Monday night, I wonder what Matthew's up to, let's hang out, you know, kind of thing. So I think spending time with God really fosters a lot of that love for Him.
It's like simple but hard, you know, like almost everything in life, it's simple but hard.
Yeah.
Like being able to do that consistently, it's almost common sense pretty much, you know, like what you spend time with is what you value.
Yeah.
No, awesome. Because like, you started mentioning your wife and like, oh yeah, you've been married what, how long?
5 years and a half, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Or nearly 5.5,
True.
yeah.
So you've definitely got some advice for someone who's not married.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. You'd hope so. 5 years.
I'd hope so, yeah.
5 years, that's, wow, quite a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. There you go. Well, what have you got to say?
Man, in terms of finding a wife, or even the other way around, if if you're a girl and you want to find a husband, the number one advice is like seek God, put him first, and doing that especially in the relationship, and I think a lot of that is reflected in even for example, back when I was single, there was quite a few girls that I liked, and what would happen all at once, all at once. No, but I would. There was a girl I would like, I would be interested in, and then I'd go home and I'd go on my knees and be like, Lord, I prayed this girl, like, can you make it work? I really like her. I even see a lot of like maybe godly character in her, like, please open up this door, And I thought I was putting God first, even in my relationship, by asking Him, to sort of make a way. But I was listening to a sermon, and I was in church, and the sermon was about how we often do this in a lot of tasks. We make a decision about who we like, or we make a decision about what job to have, or we make a decision about what to invest in, or whatever it might be, and then we pray that God will bless that decision. And the preaching was on, don't pray that God will bless your decision, but ask God what decision He wants you to make. So then my prayers changed, and it was, Lord, like, who do you want me to be with? I'm not going to go start liking a girl just because, I saw her and whatever. But it's like, Lord, is this person the person you want me to be with? And if God's not leading you into it, then there's don't jump into it. Don't, Oh no, that's because I feel like looking around, even a lot I don't know. There's like a line. I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm probably still a bit young. But it's like, do you just wait? Because you can't just wait for. So I think to come to you, it's. Right? I think it's seeking God first. Loving Him first, and then obviously girls will come around you, like that, like in your path, and I think it's in those moments, instead of like, hey, I like this girl, let's kind of talk to her, maybe do a little bit of, I don't know, when you're young, flirting a little bit, and it feels a bit harmless, and then you go home and you're praying that God will bless that. I think the better way to do it is, like, even when a girl does catch your eyes, go straight to God, wait on Him. A lot of things that a lot of what I've realized is there's a waiting on God that often takes place when you ask Him in prayer for things. And sometimes it'll be like a week or two, and then He'll answer you, no, that's not the person for you, or yes, it is. And then when you do hear the yes, I think that's when, God said yes. How did you hear your yes? So for me, it was, I was interested in her for a while, And then basically I stopped sort of being interested in her, and I asked her out. We were on a mission trip, and told her I liked her, and then she said, "No, I don't. I'm not ready for a relationship now," and all of that. And I thought she was sort of letting me down gently, you know, being like, "Yeah, this isn't gonna happen," but. You know, but I don't want you to feel bad. But she was actually in that no, saying, I want to wait a couple of months and see if you're still interested in me. If you're the type of guy who jumps from likes one girl 1 week and then the next week likes a different girl, and then you see another girl, you know, a month later and you jump again. Smart, she's like, I don't want to be with someone like that. I want to be with someone who's serious. Like... She told me this later, and then it was interesting. It's a bit of a longer story, but when I got baptized, Rachel was at the church I was getting baptized, and basically she went out of the church, and she felt like she...
At this point,
I just became a Christian. Oh no, so this is back in the past. Going back in the past now, when I first became a Christian, and at my baptism, Rachel walked out after, and she...
So this is before you told her?
This is before I told her. So I hadn't met her at this point. Not in chronological. So yeah, sorry, not in chronological, okay. But I skipped back a little bit. So became a Christian, got baptized at the church I was going to at the time. Rachel was also at that church. She walked out the door, and she felt like God was pressing on her heart, "You're going to be with this guy."
No way.
And she was like, I'm not sure. She thought she heard from God, but she was like, I don't know if I want to be with him. Like, I don't even know him, kind of thing. And then sort of I liked her. I liked her for a few months. We went on the mission trip. Then I told her. She said, I'm not looking for a relationship at the time. Then she went back to her hotel room, and in the hotel room, she again felt like she heard God say, "You're going to marry Jeremy." But she wasn't too keen on it because she didn't know me yet, you know?
I mean, I feel like if she wasn't skeptical, then it'd be a bit weird. I think it's normal to be skeptical.
Yeah, but she wanted as well that time to see sort of what type of a guy I was. Okay. And I thought she said no, so there was a period then when I sort of stopped pursuing her. And then I went and sort of tried to pursue another girl, and I was interested in her, and then that's when I heard that sermon and was like, all right, God, like, I'm not going to do it my way, I'm going to do it your way. And then I was like, Lord, who do you want me to marry? But then during that period, like, I think the number one thing is my heart started to become more in switching from a place of like, oh man, I really want to find a girl, to more, I really want to draw close to God. I also want to find a girl, but that's not, it's not on the priority list. Like, the priority list is, I want to draw close to God. Probably finding a girl was second, but God was at the top, you know? And I think that shift allowed God to speak to me. And then I sort of started feeling like God was saying, Rachel's going to be your wife just through prayer and stuff like that. And at the start I was like, no, I don't think so. She doesn't look interested in me anymore. She doesn't, you know, she's not interested in me. And then I was like, I think I'm just hearing it or whatever. But I was drawing really close to God, and I was knowing his voice, you know, knowing his leading. And it kept pressing on me, like every week, you're going to be with Rachel. And then in my prayer life, I would feel God leading me to even pray things for her and for her family. That like, you know, God would lead me in prayer for that. Like later I discovered were actually things that were relevant for that time period.
Yeah, wow.
Then there was one day, and I was at a friend's house and she was there too, and she gave me a glass of water, and that was the like final sort of time I really like God pressed it like inside, this is the girl for you, when she handed me the glass of water. And then I was like, okay, Lord, I believe you now. And then basically from that point, from that point I knew I was 100% set. I was like, this is gonna be my wife. I even wrote a song about it like a week after that. And then it was a few months I didn't tell her anything. Then I went to Melbourne, and at this point we weren't really like, sometimes we sort of mingled in the same circles, like friend circles, but it wasn't often. It was really rare. I didn't really hang out with her much, you know.
Not
one-on-one, but not even in groups. It was really rare. So I went to Melbourne then for like a month and a half, and while I was in Melbourne, she started to like miss me and think of me, even though we never really spent much time together, which I think was God like kind of getting the moment right. And then I came back, and our church at that time was going through a church split. And basically it's a long story, but
the church we go to now?
No, a different church I was going to, and then we got together one night to talk about some of the stuff from the church split that was taking place. And then that's when I was like, hey, I like you. And then she was like, oh, I like you too, you know. And then I was like, yeah, I want to marry you. And then she's like, but you don't even know me. And then I was like, I don't need to know you, like, you know, I've heard from God. But but it took then a few months for her to she wanted extra clarity was from God,
as you do,
which is totally fine. For me it was like, man, I really heard from God, I know this is going to be it.
That's good,
and then we both fasted for a week and prayed about the situation to get that extra confirmation from God. And it was funny, both of us during that period, we didn't talk, when we just came back and then shared what God taught us. And both of us had the story from Abraham where he gave up Isaac when God said, like, give up Isaac, or, you know, sacrifice him. And then pretty much God then said, don't sacrifice Isaac. And for me, when I was looking at that story, I also looked at what in Hebrews it says about Abraham, how it said he trusted God's promise so much that he believed even if he did kill Isaac, God would raise Isaac from the dead, because God has promised Isaac to him. So I felt in that moment that God was saying, I've promised Rachel to you, but there's going to be a giving her up to me, but don't be worried, because I'm going to give her back to you. So for me, that's what I got in that week period. Damn. She didn't really get the second part. She just got, and we didn't talk about this, she got the story of Abraham, how he had to give up Isaac, sacrifice Isaac. And she felt like God was saying to her, I want you to give Jeremy up. So eventually she broke it off, and she was like, look, I want to listen to God. Like, I want to, this is what I feel like God's saying. So we didn't talk for a period of time. And then during that, towards the end of the period, I wasn't worried at all. I was like, I knew this was going to happen. I'm just waiting for the time where, God gives it back to me.
Just like,
I was like, I don't know how long it takes. Like, that was probably the only, I wasn't worried at all. I was like I even bought
It's
a
like,
ring.
how
Like
long
I
does
was
this
like
process take?
100%. Yeah, but I was like, man, I don't know how long the process will take. Will it be like a year? Will it be longer?
Yeah.
Who knows? But it was only like a month and a bit, and then again, she really heard from God that look, you know, you've given Jeremy up. Now I'm giving him to you. And then she called me, and then not long after that we got engaged. So
There you go.
yeah,
Wow.
so that's sort of how it happened to me. A bit of a
Yeah, wow.
snapshot.
Bit of a long story made short. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, it was kind of long. Felt like
it was
well,
pretty
yeah.
long. Yeah, so
No,
yeah,
that's cool. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Man, there was some things I thought of to say during that, but I kind of forgot.
yeah. No, that's all right.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I guess
Yeah.
moral of the story is the first no is not real. No.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, wow, that's awesome, man.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
That's pretty cool. That was very encouraging to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like even one thing I've been praying sometimes, it's like, Lord, if it's not you, will take it away from me.
Yeah.
You know, I've even told this to other people. If you can actually acknowledge in your heart to where you actually want God to take it away,
Yeah.
you're not just saying the words just because
Yeah.
you think they mean something, but
Yeah.
in your heart you actually want it. If it's not God's will, you want it to go
To
away.
go away. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like praying that is powerful.
Yeah.
I have a couple times, and it has, you know, God's taken
Yeah.
it away.
Yeah.
Which is pretty awesome. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, no, definitely. I think marrying right is not about, not just about marrying someone who's like a good Christian. That's awesome. But marrying right is not just ticking the box of this is a man of God or this is a woman of God. But it's marrying the man of God and woman of God that God wants you to marry. And I think sometimes that takes... it again, there's that intentionality of the heart of being like, God, I'm actually here for you to direct me. Like, you're my king, you're the one leading me.
Yeah.
You know what's best for me. So
No, and it sounds like from your story that you were able to surrender to God first, and then God gave you.
yeah, that's it.
So
Yeah.
I think that's how it should be. It's just,
Yeah.
everyone's story is different.
Yeah.
So how long was the whole process?
The whole process, when we got together and we both said we liked each other, it was a few months, I think probably like 4 or 5 months, of like talking on and off till then she's like, okay, I got to listen to what God is sort of speaking to me. Then that was like another month and a bit. Then we actually got together when we both had the proper confirmation. And then 2 months after that we were engaged. Then we were engaged for about a year. Yeah.
Nice. There you go. That's a good way to wrap it up. Nice little love story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, man.
Yeah.
My health may fail, and my spirit may grow weak, but God remains the strength of my heart. He is mine forever.
Amen. Amen.
And I just thought I'd read a highlighted verse.
Yeah. So good.
Well, all right.
Awesome.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Remember,
Thank you.
I will upload this to Spotify so you can listen to it without having to look at us. And so you can, listen to it in the car, just with headphones, whatever. But yeah, God bless, guys. And remember, someone's always watching. See ya.